and sexual identities. So we don't make any assumptions that all the people in the room are heterosexual. We don't make any assumptions that everybody in the room is gay or bisexual. So we're covering all information. So that's also affirming, particularly for gay and bisexual men who are in a room full of all this masculinity stuff going on, that don't have the same level of security and safety that, let's say, the heterosexual men in the space might have. And so we're very intentional about making sure we're talking about all of those behaviors. And it gets to a point, you know, of discomfort that we want to have happen, so that heterosexual men are being forced into a sensitivity that they need not only to be with other men who happen to be gay or bisexual, but that same sensitivity by and large extends itself to their relating to women as well. And so that's why it's also important to make sure we're including all sexual identities and activities in our workshops.
Are you including male virgins?
Male virgins. Yeah. You know, what's difficult about that one is we have, yes and no. We're not focused on them, but yeah, because we have a lot of 14, 17, 16, 18-year-olds. Shoot, at Morehouse College, we just had the 13-year-old. I don't know if you heard about that. Oh, Morehouse College graduated, or will be graduating in May, a 13-year-old young man who is a triple major.
Wow.
And it's not English and religion. It is like math. Yeah, he's in mathematics, organic chemistry, and technology. Yeah, computer engineering or something. I'm scared for his parents. But anyway, so yes, it's all of that. But we're not abstinence focused or abstinence based, but abstinence is in there. So like, if you're not having sex, you know, we also talk, there's a component in the Healthy Love Party that I'm thinking we probably have about 40 or 50 of these little pieces of paper that all have a different sexual act on them. And people talk about those sexual acts and how, or whether they're safe or how safe they aren't, whether they're a high risk activity or a low risk or a no risk activity. And so it goes soup to nuts, you know, from spooning to unprotected anal sex. And having a conversation about the degrees of safety in the sexual activities that you engage in is also a part of that intervention. The only reason I didn't bring that to y'all, y'all know how science and restriction goes. We literally just published, so if you want to read more about the Healthy Love Party, we just published our research on that in AIDS and Behavior. So you can find that in AIDS and Behavior online or in the journal itself if you have that available at your organization. AIDS and Behavior. AIDS and Behavior. Or at your institutions, you should be able to access that, and it will show you all those different components. So sisterlove.org, messagesofempowerment.com. Please get in touch with us. We'd love to share that information with you. We can go into greater depth and provide you resources on the Healthy Love Party as soon as we present on the paper that's just been published and all of that kind of stuff. Then we can release it a lot more broadly.
Can I get your name?
Yes, ma'am. I'm Dazon Dixon Diallo, D-I-A-L-L-O. And I thank you all so much for coming to our session. We have 2 more today. We have one at 1, 2.
And then one at 4.
The one at 2 o'clock.
Right, the one at 2 is Southern Synergies.
Yes.
Which is looking at the gender-focused MDGs and how we're working in both the deep south of the U.S. and the global south on advocacy around the MDGs, particularly around U.S. domestic and foreign policy. And then at 4, we have one, I forget the exact title, but it's basically the intersection of race and gender around the intersection of violence against women and HIV and AIDS.
Yes.
Yes.
And we'll probably be talking about the Black abortion campaign that we're fighting right now in Georgia.
Oh, yes.
Yeah. We'll be talking about that
during Southern Synergies.
At the Southern Synergy session.
Right.
Just to give y'all a little tease, the Right to Life lobby in the United States has enacted a national strategy that's very, very localized, that's engaging more anti-abortion African Americans to help craft local campaigns. And right now there's a billboard campaign in Atlanta And actually, I heard there's some billboards that just went up in Chicago.
Mm.
There's a billboard campaign in Atlanta that says black children are an endangered species, as if basically black women having abortions are killing off black people in America, that we're killing off our own population by having too many abortions. But it's also been accompanied with legislation that predominantly restricts and outlaws abortions that would be held in facilities that are more likely accessed by women of color and poor women. So we're going to be talking about that. Heidi Williamson from Sister Song will be talking about that this afternoon. So you're
What time is that?
very much invited to come to that session at 2 o'clock.
In this room.
It'll be back here in this room. Yeah.
So Sister Love, you basically focus on the Deep South states you're talking about?
We'll come wherever you ask us to come, but yeah, our direct service delivery is right there in Georgia, and we have a southern regional network that we're slowly building the capacity. And we're also in South Africa, I mentioned before.
Oh.